Have you ever faced an obstacle in your life, something that made a simple task feel like climbing Mount Everest, and then had someone tell you it wasn't a real problem? Imagine that, but in a college classroom, with your academic future hanging in the balance, all because a teacher decided their way was the only way to learn. If you've ever had a run-in with a truly difficult educator, or just love a good story of malicious compliance, then you're in the right place. Before we dive into this tale, do me a favor, like this video, subscribe to the channel, and comment below with your own stories of difficult teachers. Growing up, learning was a unique journey for me. I live with Tourette syndrome and ADHD, which, as you can imagine, can make focusing and processing information a bit of a maze. Thankfully, I was homeschooled by an incredible professional teacher, my mom, who ensured I always had the accommodations I needed to thrive. She understood my struggles, especially with one peculiar hurdle, writing by hand. It sounds simple, right? Just right. But for me, it was agonizing. My hand would cramp up so severely that it felt like an actual injury. My mom used to joke that the pencil was my biggest enemy. I'd start with normal handwriting, but as the pain increased, my letters would get larger and more illegible. What's worse, if I concentrated too hard on the physical act of writing, I'd completely miss the lecture, the projector, sometimes even entire slides. Note-taking, therefore, was less of a learning tool and more of a painful distraction. That's precisely why accommodations exist. And college? College was amazing. My disability services office hooked me up with everything I needed: double time for private tests, the ability to record lectures, and a dedicated note-taker. I sailed through my classes, able to truly listen and engage with the material, knowing I'd have thorough notes to review later. It was perfect. I was on the dean's list every semester, a proud A student. That is, until I walked into American history. Our American history professor was, to put it mildly, a character. He was a smug, God's gift to teaching kind of guy, though I'll admit, he was an incredible lecturer. He had the exact same name as a certain Confederate general, which might have been a clue. He assigned his TA to take notes for me, and for the first few weeks, it worked beautifully. After class, I'd get my copy, and I'd focus entirely on his captivating lectures. But then, he noticed. He noticed I wasn't taking notes myself. And he got upset. He pulled me aside and declared that the only possible way to learn was by actively writing notes. If I didn't start taking my own notes, he'd refuse to give me the TA's copies. I was absolutely gobsmacked. I tried to explain my learning style, about needing to focus on his words and the visuals, about how writing actually made me miss the content. I reminded him I was an A student, on the dean's list. Surely, my grades proved I was learning effectively? But no, he wouldn't budge. His way or the highway. Desperate to avoid a conflict that would derail my success, I offered a compromise. I told him I'd bring in a tape recorder to capture the lectures, even though I'd never needed one before. He seemed pleased with this concession, and for a while, the notes continued to flow. He thought he had won. He thought he had successfully forced me to conform to his idea of proper learning. And this, my friends, is where the malicious compliance truly began. I did bring that tape recorder. Every single class, it sat there, faithfully whirring away. But I never once listened to those tapes. I'd let a microcassette run for about 3/4 of a lecture, then I wouldn't turn it over. The following week, I'd flip the same microcassette to the other side and record another 3/4 of that lecture. Then, the week after, I'd flip it back and record right over the previous week's partial recording. It was just enough to get him off my back, enough to maintain the illusion of compliance. Looking back, I probably should have reported him. Refusing to provide accommodations, threatening to withhold notes, that was a clear violation of my ADA rights, and it could have gotten him into some serious trouble. But I was just a kid then, a stupid kid as I put it, who just wanted to get through college and graduate. I did tell my disabilities counselor, but I never pushed for official action because I'd found my own ingenious way to navigate his ableist stubbornness. In the end, I actually enjoyed the class. As I said, he was a fantastic lecturer, truly born to teach. But when it came to compassion, understanding, and respecting diverse learning needs, well, that's where he failed. It's a powerful reminder that sometimes, the most brilliant minds can also be the most inflexible, and that standing up for yourself, even subtly, is always important. What do you think? Should I have escalated it? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe for more amazing stories.